October 28th, year 2011.
The only choice I can see is to leave. And that's why we're sitting on this boat right now. I fought a war for this country. I believe in what this country is supposed to be, but it's not that anymore. When I get the engine finished and the new sails, I'm leaving the country, and I'm just going to go wherever I end up, and if I can't be free there, then I'll go someplace else.
Every parent's nightmare. What can we do to protect our children from predators?
A child missing, a child attacked. American people want to feel protected. They want a registry for sex offenders.
From now on, every state in the country will be required by law to tell a community when a dangerous sexual predator enters its midst.
If you click on any of the dots, it will bring up information about that person, their photo, their name, and where they live. You can also find out what they've been convicted of. So put your address in the search box and see who may be living in your neighborhood.
You want to know where they are and who they are.
And the goal is know new victims.
I don't think there can be any overprotection.
Yeah, the monsters under the bed aren't real, but the ones down the street might be.
Remember to check the sex offender registry before you send your kids out trick-or-treating.
Today, America warns, if you dare to prey on our children, the law will follow you wherever you go, state to state, town to town.
Today is sunny, but colder winds are coming down from the north.
Pumpkins, costumes, and scary masks at Halloween Expo, Anderson Mall.
We have over 450 sex offenders that are registered in Anderson County. Our job is to make sure that we're out, we're visible, they know that we're out checking on their addresses. And if we find any offenders who have their porch lights on or their houses are decorated for Halloween that makes it look like they're trying to entice children into their homes or up to their door, then we will ask them to turn their lights off and we'll ask them to take their decorations down.
Turn left on Cheyenne Street.
If you're inclined to harm children, it's a perfect night. Children are out, and it's dark. They're vulnerable. So I appreciate all that law enforcement does at whatever level to keep our children safe, to keep us all safe, to keep the offenders safe from themselves.
Every year we bring our sex offenders here into the office to monitor them during the Halloween activities that celebrate in the United States, and have them sit here from 5:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. And we bring our sex offenders in here just to put the parents' mind at ease a little, not to worry about our sex offenders out and about in the streets.
Oh, my goodness.
I got it. I think There you go. Yeah.
The kids come in and just run through the patch, and they're all excited about picking out a pumpkin. And that's what this is all about. It's all about children and having fun.
We have a hot dog lunch starting at 5:30. Hot dog supper starting at 5:30.
In today's society, you've got some unsavory characters, if you would, that prey upon children, and that's one reason that it's changed today.
The thought of just something happened to them that, get lost and never see them again, that kind of thing, it scares you. I can't imagine what I would do. Type in SLED, which is South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, and then it pops up Sex Offender Registry. This is now a 2-mile radius, so we're right here, and then I guess this is the closest one. If you click on the names, it'll give you a picture, age, weight, eye color, hair color, and where they live. I mean, that's in 2 miles, and that's 10 different people.
Mama,
You're all right.
We obviously looked at it before we bought a house, and of course there's people like that everywhere.
The kids are going to be safer not being around them, obviously. If one moved in, then we'd seriously consider leaving.
Having the registry's fine. If somebody's going around raping children, you're damn right I want to know about it. And he better not decide to move in next door to me. He's better off finding someplace way out in the middle of nowhere, because he's not welcome.
If I lived in any of these areas that had quite a few concentrated in the area, I believe I'd want to know who they are and which house they lived in. Certainly with Halloween trick-or-treating, I would not attempt to go into those areas. I would do all I could to protect my children, to not be anywhere near where these predators live.
Well, it's always scary. Just knowing that they're that close and, that they can drive around and look for a victim, That's why we don't let him play outside by himself.
Yeah, they have these over at Party City. That was last year's favorite toy. It's sad that the trick-or-treating is dropping so significantly. It's been around for forever. You know, it's what I did as a kid. We just went out, we ran, we went trick-or-treating, door to door, trick-or-treat. We would come home with bags full of candy. And now, parents are afraid to let their kids cross the street.
Wait. I got it. We always learn about stranger danger, how to stay away from people you don't know. I have nightmares every night. I wake up and I'll listen, and just to make sure no one's in the house and stuff, just to make sure no one's in here trying to, you know, rape my parents or me. I don't think we ever really worried about that when we were growing up. Do you think that...
Worried about what?
Sex offenders and...
Nope.
It has had an impact on how we view our neighbors, and, you know, the whole idea that you could be living next door to a halfway house for sex offenders and not know it. Well, now you know it. I mean, what are you going to do if you find out that they move in next door? Are you going to try and get them to move out, or are you going to move yourself? Fear breeds fear. But on the other hand, you know, I don't think that not knowing is any more beneficial than knowing. It creates more of a problem for these people who may want to try and change.
This is our home. I don't know how old it is. It's a mobile home, probably about 30 years old. We're real fortunate in that our landlord knows I'm on the registry and has accepted that, and has accepted that this is the only place we can live and doesn't raise the rent. My weight machine. If I can even get into it. I don't know if this is correct to be working out with a cigarette in your mouth, but oh, there's something back there that just fell down. I think that's 10 on that set. There we go. Oh. I used to be a distance runner. And I know it seems silly, I don't see, but I could still run. And I can't, because I would run the risk of being within 1,000 feet of a church. They call it loiter. I mean, it's not only can I not be there in that proscribed zone, I can't loiter in that proscribed zone. So if I went out for a run and sat down to rest,
what can happen then?
10 to 30 years. Here is our water feature. It's basically a drainage and overflow. When it rains, it fills up, and the landlady said she wants to put fish in there. And I had to tell her, don't do that, because if you get kids coming out here fishing, I have to move. I put myself in therapy in prison. And I was able to understand. By the time I was 10 years old, I had 7 different last names. My mother would tell me, go to school and tell them this is your name now. She changed marital partners 7 times in my first 10 years of my life. And I was sent over to one of my new father's co-workers. That man had sex with me. At that point in my life, I said, okay, fine. And that's what broke in me, is somewhere in my brain, I thought, well, it's okay. This is normal. And now I know it's not. But I'm still paying for it. And what happened to me is no excuse for what I did. We can't go there. We can say that's an underlying cause, but at some point I was supposed to grow up. And I was supposed to know that what happened to me was wrong, and that even looking at images, I am probably helping to support that wrongness.
In the Oval Office, families whose children have been killed by sex offenders are gathered around the president to witness the signing of a new law. Bill Clinton is now shaking hands with Maureen Kanka, the mother of 7-year-old Megan, who was raped and killed 2 years ago. The Kanka family did not know they lived next to a convicted sex offender. The new law is named after their daughter.
Megan's law will protect tens of millions of families from the dread of what they do not know. It will give more peace of mind to our parents. We respect people's rights, but today America proclaims there is no greater right than a parent's right to raise a child in safety and love. The law that bears the name of one child is now for every child. God bless you all.
I gave my mother all these things. That bird, that's a South Carolina state bird.
People who have strong feelings against this incident, they'll kill you. If it wasn't on the internet, I wouldn't have to carry this.
copy of that book that I identify with. To me, this is the greatest novel that was ever written. For me, it's about a punishment exceeding a crime, in a nutshell. Jean Valjean is the main character, and he steals a loaf of bread in the beginning, and that's the start of his troubles. And he's pursued relentlessly, and the police officer is actually the criminal in my mind, to my mind. I did more than stealing bread, but I didn't kill anybody, and I didn't.
There's no penetration.
Yeah, there was no insertion whatsoever, and I'm being lumped in a group that includes.
That's important.
That includes
very, very important. That we're being grossly punished. Grossly punished because there was no penetration. I emphasize that. You know, the little girls are curious.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, you forget.
It was a two-way street.
Well, this is one of the reasons we don't go out and trick or treat. It's not in the good versus the bad part of town that you want to think about. They're not, it's not like the bad people are living in that part of Anderson. No, they're everywhere. They're in the good neighborhoods. They're in the not so good neighborhoods. It's spread out throughout Anderson.
What do you think you want to be? Halloween used to be a real party and an excellent playtime for the children when they could be taken out into the neighborhood and go house to house and trick-or-treating. And just through the evil that we experience, real evil in this world, when people started doing things like poisoning candy or putting razor blades into fruit and various things like that, and your sex offenders out on the street preying on the children, we have very little neighborhood trick-or-treating anymore.
That's the one you would...
No, have one left.
Ah, she spotted it.
Now what you'll want to do when you get home is take a hairdryer and put it on very low heat and blow it, and then just let it sit, and she'll poof right up there.
Don't just go knocking on doors. We can't do like I used to do when I was a kid.
But it's just, you can't trust them. You don't know who to trust. You don't know what they're going to put into the candy, some people, you know? There's people out there that it's bad like that.
There's one magical, haunted evening each year when all the scary creatures come out to prowl through every neighborhood. But there are a few people who will do things to hurt kids. They might put sharp or hard objects in candy and apples. To be completely safe, save your treats until you get home. Then ask your parents to help you check them carefully to make sure that there's nothing in them or on them that could hurt you. And all the fruit should be sliced so you can be certain that there is nothing hard or sharp inside. If you're not sure whether something is safe or not, don't take any chances. Throw it away.
Back in its old days, Halloween was, you know, the kids would dress up to scare away evil demons. That's what it was based on. And it's supposed to be scary, and it's All Hallows Eve. Halloween is all about fears. And one fear is somebody breaking into your house. Well, there he is, trying to break into the house. The spider, obviously, we got the big inflatable spider. We got a graveyard. And the spiders are basically, I like the spiders because they take over. Spider webs are everywhere. I still like to stick with the essence of it. Giant bats, graveyards, you know, we want to go and have fun with it, not just see it as, you know, well, we're just passing out candy.
They make it so easy for you these days. Let's just put in a little bit of caramel over top of the apple. Then when we're done, stick a stick in. Like a big, giant, almost healthy lollipop. If we gave them away to strangers, the parents would either not take them or make their kids throw them away or take them to the ER to have them tested. I don't think there's ever been any documented cases of anybody doing anything bad to strangers' kids with trick-or-treat candy. But I think there's always that fear that, you know, somebody could do something.
Is that it? That can't be it. All right. Then that's where I'll go.
Calculating route.
This can't be.
Approaching hard left turn on GA 281.
Okay. G8. Yeah, okay. People are afraid of things that they don't understand. They hear sex offender and everybody out there that's on that list is a child molester, which the percentage of that is so small.
Approaching destination on the right. You have arrived.
Did you want a cup of coffee?
Coffee would be great.
Okay.
And I do it black. So I'm easy. I am devastated by this. And my child's devastated by this. He does have your attitude, by the way. He's accepted responsibility. He says, I did this. He says, and it doesn't matter that I was 16 years old. I did this. But at the same time, he wants it to go away, and he doesn't dream dreams anymore. And a young man that just turned 22 years old needs to dream dreams and believe that there can be a future for him.
You have something to believe in. These Americans are good people. This is a good country.
I want to believe that, but I'm so jaded now.
The only problem is we've let the hysterics take control.
My Jay was 16 years old, and he was looking for pornography. He downloaded some images, and they were underage, probably close to his age, not prepubescent. And then that laptop that he was using had viruses on it and everything, so he decided he would sell it. And I said, and you know, I knew he'd been looking at pornography and stuff, and I said, no, don't sell it. And so after the fact, he tells me I sold it. And the family that he sold it to were like the neighborhood watchdogs of everything. It's like, oh my Lord, you know, if you're going to sell it to anybody, why in the world would you sell it to these people? About a week later, I came home from work and he wasn't there. You know how you get this feeling sometimes. So I went on the website for the county that we live in to check arrest, and he had been arrested. I called them, and she says, yes, he's in custody. And I asked her why, and she told me charges of child pornography. And I said, wait a minute. I have a child that most of the time, or a lot of the time, that doesn't even want to live. And he says, I have no future. I have nothing to hope for. It's important to believe in things. It's important. You are hooked up to the machine, and with the little lines that indicate probable lies or not. So, and some of the questions are bizarre. I mean, some are questions like having sex with a dead person. This, if they determine that you're not telling the truth, then they can call it a violation, and he could actually go to prison.
And we come through a very secure facility. I have to have codes to get through and an access code. We come into the polyguest suite itself. We could be here for a little hour and a half, as long as up to 4 or 5 hours. We look for certain patterns that help us determine whether or not someone is not telling us the absolute truth. Since your last test, have you touched anyone under the age of 18 for a sexual reason? Since your last test, have you masturbated to any fantasies that involve anyone under the age of 18? What we're trying to do is look at a behavior that's attached to the fantasy. Are they masturbating to inappropriate fantasies? We see this huge reaction here, which is, again, associated with the person lying. I know he's lying. They're always going to have some kind of a fantasy, but what do they do with that thought? What do they do with the fantasy, even with the dream? So we want to make them accountable to the behavior.
The first time I had sex was when I was 13 years old. Does that mean that I should be on there? Technically, yeah. Do I belong on there? No. I see some of the cases on it, and I'm like, why are they registered? Because They need to narrow down what is considered a sex offender.
Yes. Okay. You were showing me silly goose. It's not like you serve your time and it's over. It's going to follow you the rest of your life. You serve your time and then there's never an end to it.
Boy, I would really not want to be convicted of a crime of that nature and have to be on a list such as that, because it'd just be terrible. One of the popular things at college campuses is to go streaking. If you get caught, it's an indecent exposure and you're on the list.
Say you're a 17-year-old boy and your girlfriend's 15, and you have sex, and your girlfriend's dad finds out, files charges against you. He can file charges for statutory rape, and that puts you on the sex offender registry. You know, those kids are branded as being child molesters because they had sex with their girlfriend.
It's 167, 168, 169, 170, 172, 173, 174, 175, 176. Okay. 182, 220 more paces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every day I have to be concerned about where I go, what I do, who I talk to. I can't live like this. To our right here is a church. I can't be within 1,000 feet of that. I don't know where the public library is. That's another place that I can't be within 1,000 feet of. Just as long as it's not a place where children congregate, any sort of recreational center, any park, which every beach in the state is a state park, so I can't go to the beach. What kind of vehicles are those in front of us?
It says Child Care Network.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful. So that's a child care facility right there?
Yep.
I'm not sure that this is a place I should be at. This is what it's like. Every place you go, you've got to stop and consider whether or not you're in compliance. If I went to McDonald's, if I sat down at McDonald's and had a hamburger and somebody turned me in because my face is all over the internet, I would do 10 years. There wouldn't even be a question. I was in violation. I'm going to have to assume this bridge then is the start of the beach. So I need to be 400 paces back that way to be in compliance. I can't be this I have to assume here, but I'm assuming, given all this signage, that this is the beginning of the state beach. I can't take that risk. $400. I think this is 1,000 feet. I don't know if there's a church or something down one of these streets closer than the beach is, so So now what I have to do is I have to go 1,000 paces down that way and up that way and back that way, because it's got to be 1,000 feet on that side too, and check this area to make sure that there's nothing here that I have to be away from. I'm a decent human being. I have value. Punishment makes no sense if you're just going to continue to punish. Because at that point it becomes punishment for the sake of punishment. It's because you're angry at me. I'm sorry. I did it. I took the punishment. You have to stop being angry with me at some point, or I'm going to give up. For some reason, this is the way America wants to live. And I can't change America. If that's what America wants, it's their right to have that. I'm sorry, I'm very cynical, but I guess I'm trying to find ways that it's okay for me to leave.
Well, folks, it's Halloween night tonight. A lot of parents say they have not decided yet if they will allow their kids to go trick-or-treating.
Anderson County authorities have required sex offenders to be together in the town's old auditorium on Halloween night. 56 of them will stay there during trick-or-treat hours.
The sheriff says, check the sex offender registry online before going out trick-or-treating for Halloween.
Okay, you can have a seat in the auditorium. Just sit in the auditorium. Thank you.
Virgil Owens, Charles Wardell, Charles Wardell.
All right, everybody listen up. It's 5:30 now, so we're beginning the actual curfew. In probably about an hour, we're going to let you get a bathroom break or get a smoke break, but we're coming back in, okay? And remain here till 9 o'clock, all right? Thank you.
Hi, guys. How are you? Y'all just keep going straight to go get your hot dogs and eat and stuff, and the game starts at 6:15. Yay! I gotta go change.
Go outside?
You're supposed to be loose.
Ready. Hey, guys.
It's supposed to be loose.
In trick or treat, they go from house to house. We do the trunk or treat here, where we set up cars in our parking lot and we give away candy from the cars. And that way the children aren't walking the streets in the dark, and they know what they're getting is safe. So it does reduce that element of risk.
I'll let you guys pick. Okay, you can pick what you like. Go pick one. That'll be fine. All right, Micah, one thing. One thing. Yeah. Skit. What do you say? Trunk or treat? Say thank you. Okay. Bye. Okay, you ready? Put it in your bag.
They are.
What do we say?
There you go.
Now let me do that. All right, then walk to the side.
Y'all have a great fall, okay? Now, there you go. Y'all have a good time. Bye-bye. There's no place like home. Remember that.
Here you go. Have one more. Say thank you.
You'll have plenty of candy, trust me.
Woohoo! Okay. All right, what do we say? Say triggers.
I'm always so afraid some children are going to either be kidnapped or they're going to be attacked by somebody. So this is a safe sound here. You know, this is a safe place for them to be. Whereas if you go out on the streets, you never know.
We're going to go out and check on sex offenders to verify that they live where they say they live. We'll make suggestions that they turn their lights off, not to entice the children.
Hey, this is Sergeant Cole with the Sheriff's Office. How are you guys doing? Good. How about yourself? I'm doing fine. We are out doing address checks for our sex offenders this evening, and we know there's a bunch of them that are on probation that are required to be in your auditorium this evening. I just wanted to make sure that you guys are closing up at 9 o'clock tonight, right? Is that the time that you're going to have them go back home? Yeah. Okay. Everything's still okay over there with them? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, good night.
On a deep, dark night, in a deep, dark place, little baby Mummy did not want to go to bed. Just one more game of hide and shriek, he pleaded to Big Mama Mummy. Count your bandages while I hide. Mummy, where are you? He looked over the graves and looked over the tombs, but Big Mama Mummy was nowhere to be found. Little baby Mummy, go to bed. There are creatures that creep in the deep dark night. Little baby Mummy tromp, tromp, tromp to the deep dark cave, the shivery cave, to look for Big Mama Mummy.
This is Halloween for us.
He stopped and he listened. Rustle, rustle, rustle. Scritch, scratch, scritch. Rustle, rustle, rustle. Mama Mummy, are you there?
Let's take him apart. There it is.
There have been sexual predators forever. There were sexual predators in biblical times, and probably from the beginning. But we're much more aware of it now, so we tend to be much more careful. And the risk is we so isolate ourselves and live in fear that it just changes all of life for the worse.
I love being at sea. It's so quiet and calm, and none of this craziness that is society is there. It's I love it, you know. For those of you who are questioning, well, he's blind, how is he doing this? How many times do you look at your shoes when you tie them? You just do things by feel. That's just, you know, the way you handle it. So that's but anyway, if we move forward here, watching that we don't smash our head here. I smash my head here quite often. This is what I'll be using for cooking, because that's really the safest way for blind people to cook. It's also the best way for lazy people to cook. If you look here, that's a full meal, and you can buy that for $1.50 anywhere, I'm telling you. You know? What else is in there? Tea bags, popcorn, everything I need, you know? I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to change you or them or anybody else. I'm here to live free. And to live free, it means I'm going to have to find a place where I'm accepted for who I am, not what I was. This is my world. This is it. 13 feet 4 inches, 41 feet 4 inches. That is going to become my world. And that's good because I'm happy with that. I will be on my boat, in my ocean. And if I bother you, it will only be long enough to take on fresh water and supplies. I promise I'll leave. I won't bother anybody, you know. I want my children to be able to say, oh, my dad, oh, he's in, I think he's in Greece right now. He moves so often, you know, he was in Ireland, but then he went to Greece, and I think he's headed for South Africa. instead of, oh, he lives out in the middle of nowhere in Georgia because he's a sex offender. I am better and continuing to get better. People can get better.